This video is brought to you by
Cool Grain Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. Come on down, shop with us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you can't come and shop with us in person, go online right now at coolgrainclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Let's get right into the story. If you are about 30 years old and up, I'm sure we all remember back in the day when it was still cool to have house parties. When someone would host an event at their spot, no venue, maybe charge a few dollars, have food, some drinks, and pray the night goes smooth with no drama. Because even in the free size t-shirt and headband days in the early 2000s, we might not have been as trigger happy or had switches on our guns, but situations still occurred. Not as much though, especially as teens. You want to go to a party, dance with the opposite sex, get numbers, and just for real, have fun. Most of the time, everybody was on their best behavior because either they didn't want the night to end early or y'all wanted to make sure whoever house the party was at was comfortable enough to have another one. As a teen, around about 16, that's usually that year where you get your right to passage. In a lot of states, that's the age you can get your license. Your parents might loosen up on you a little bit, giving you more independence. And for most people out there, that's the height of your social life, when everybody is friends. So of course, as a young man or woman, you will want to throw a birthday party to celebrate that milestone in your life. But we would never think something as innocent as a Sweet 16 party would end with the friends you invited charged with taking your loved one's life. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be taking it all the way back to 2006 to discuss a case of a house party that took a fatal turn after a dispute. Back in 2006, a teen girl, who we will call Brittany for the sake of the story, was a typical young woman growing up in Baltimore City. She had a lot to look forward to. Her mother and father was going to let her celebrate and have a Sweet 16 party at their home on North Augusta Avenue in Southwest Baltimore. Brittany told all her friends about the party, including at the time 2 teen boys, 16-year-old Jamal Charles and 17-year-old Dwayne Drake. Brittany's father, 42-year-old Brian Jones, gave his daughter some rules to pass down to her friends before the party. No smoking, no drinking, no acting wild or being disrespectful, in which everybody agreed on. Then on April 14th, 2006, the big day had finally came. The family had cleared the basement out. Brittany's older cousins were at the house, her mother and father, so the teens had plenty of chaperones. To make a few dollars for Brittany, the family decided to charge a fee to get in, just $1 each head. Jamal, Dwayne, and their little crew had came pretty deep and paid to get in. Now the party was in full effect. Club music playing, teens in the basement dancing. Everything at first seemed cool, but the young men started getting too pumped up, dancing crazy, bumping into people, swinging their arms back and forth, and one of the young women there told Dwayne, like, yo, chill, you geeking, leading to a brief back and forth between the two. The adults, including Brittany's parents, heard the commotion. They came to the basement, telling the boys to calm down and remember the rules. They also stated if anybody had a weapon, they could leave, because there wasn't going to be any situations or beefs at the party. Jamal laughed, like, well, we gone, because I got my burn on me. But his friends told him, like, yo, chill out before we get kicked out for real. The night continued on, and the grown-ups went back upstairs. Jamal asked the young woman to dance, but she declined. mainly because him and his homies was acting too wild. That's when he grabbed her by her arm, and Brittany peeped it and told her father she wanted Jamal to leave. He was messing up the vibes. Mr. Bryan told the young man, "You broke the rules, now it's time to go." Not wanting to be the only one to leave, Jamal told his friends, including Dwayne, like, "Yo, let's roll out." As the boys walked upstairs, prepared to leave the party, both of the young men asked for their dollars back for getting in. Some of Brittany's cousins felt the few of their crew didn't pay in the first place, so they told them to just go. Mr. Bryan, being the man of the house and protecting his family, stepped in, telling both of the young men to cool out and just bop off. Seconds later, 3 gunshots went off, and about 11 teens started running. Mr. Bryan had been shot. Family had already called BPD, who responded to the home and rushed Mr. Bryan to a local hospital. Back at the home, the family told police about the argument and claimed they saw Jamal shoot Brittany's father. Some family members claimed after the argument between Jamal and Bryant started getting too loud, they had already stepped in to call police. And while doing so, they heard Dwayne's voice saying, "Forget all that. Show yo how we do it in the Ville." Before then, handing Jamal a gun. After that, that's when the shots went off. The family pointed both young men out in a photo lineup. And unfortunately, Mr. Bryant had passed away from his injuries at the hospital. Now both teens had warrants out for their arrest for first-degree murder. Both young men were picked up and while in custody, claimed to not be the trigger man. Even Dwayne's father stated his son was innocent. As it seemed from the jump, it was already confusion in the case. It was a crowd outside of about 10 to 12 teens before the shots rang out. After that, they all started running, leaving some to speculate anybody could have been the trigger man. But Brittany's family stood firm on what they heard and saw that night. As the case started making its way to trial, the judge asked the would-be jurors, who were all set to be picked, a crazy question. Were they able to find someone guilty of a crime without all that CSI forensic type of evidence in his own words? And whoever stated yes, they were able to continue on to be jurors in the trial. This will be important later on. Mr. Bryant's family filled the courtroom and testified as the 2 teen boys were both being charged as adults with first-degree hit and weapon charges. They both maintained their innocence, but with eyewitnesses being pointed out in a lineup and making statements the night of the party, both Jamal and Dwayne were found guilty of the lesser charges of second-degree hit. Dwayne was sentenced to 40 years in prison and Jamal 50 years. They both decided to appeal their convictions, and the judge's question to the jury would come back up. Basically, both young men's attorneys felt like the judge was fishing for a biased jury to secure a conviction, and as the Maryland Court of Appeals reviewed information in the case and the trial, they agreed with the situation. The young men deserved a new trial. During my research, I couldn't find any information and if any of their sentences was overturned or reduced. It shows Jamal is still in custody, but Dwayne had to be released, maybe after serving his time with good time or parole, being that he had the less time, because in 2019, at 30 years old, he caught a petty new charge in Glen Burnie of disorderly conduct, also first, second, third-degree burglary charges from being intoxicated and allegedly trying to break into a food truck, which resulted with him being back in custody. Rest in peace to Bryant. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I pray his daughter is healed and living a productive and fulfilled life. That's traumatizing to lose your father at your sweet 16 by the hands of your so-called friends. But I think situations like this is why house parties went out of style in the first place. I mean, people still try, but a lot of times it ends in similar situations like this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Have you ever been to a house party and something jumped off? Or would you now, in 2024, attend a house party? Tell me your experiences. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, that man. I send my belated condolences to his family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all let me know in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.